If you're new to Aweber or just looking to get the most out of it, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to start using Aweber efficiently, from creating emails and landing pages to setting up automations that save you time and grow your audience. Let's dive in and get your email marketing up and running the right way. So first is that you want to go here by using the link in the description. And then once you're here, you want to sign up for Aweber. So you could continue with Google if you would want to sign in using your Google account. And this is a much easier and more simple process. Or you could go for your first name and then last name in here. After that, go for your email address. And then Aweber would send you an email through the email address that you have provided in here. And you just simply need to confirm that in order for you to create your account. But in my case, I'll just continue with Google. So once you're signed in, you will now be able to see their pricing. So in here, these are their tiers or plans. So you have the unlimited plan, plus plan, and light plan. As of now, they don't have their free plan anymore. They do have that in the past. But today, as of this date, we only have the 14-day trial that you can try out with the light plan or the plus plan. So you could just start here and then you could assess if this investment would be worth it, if this plan is worth buying. And you'd be able to see their features in here, and you could go scroll down to see a more comprehensive view of comparison regarding the features that you would be getting in each plan. But basically, for Lite, this is perfect if you're just starting out. You get landing pages, email automation, and even the ability to sell products directly through email. For the Plus plan is that this is for creators who are ready to scale. It includes unlimited automations, advanced subscriber insights, and priority 24/7 support. And for the Unlimited is that if you've got over 100,000 subscribers or need the most power, then this fixed price plan gives you everything in plus and is built for big time growth. And if you do want to save more money, then I suggest that you go for the annual plan when you click here, because if you go for monthly by clicking here, as you can see, the prices would increase. And not just that, you also get 4 months free if you go for annual. And you have this slider in here. So basically the price would also increase if you have more subscribers. As you can see here, if you have 10,000 to 15,000 subscribers, then this would be the price and so on. So make sure to also indicate it right here, because if you go for lesser amount of subscribers in here, then you might not be able to send all of your emails all throughout your subscribers. So make sure that you input the correct amount in here, and then you could basically just scale this later on if you have grown your number of subscribers. So make sure to use the link in the description to support our channel. Alright, so now once you have purchased a plan or maybe on a free trial, just like mine in here, you should now be able to go here into their dashboard once your plan or subscription is set up. So in here, this is the recommended steps that Aweber would recommend you to do first, but we'll be skipping all of this. Instead, we will be discussing each of these options right here. I will be skimming through it so that you would have idea on each one of them on what they would do. So first is a quick menu. So when you click here on quick menu, this would pop up in here. So basically, these are lists of quick actions that you could do from the word quick menu. So this is where you could easily access the actions in here that you would be able to do in Aweber. So you could just search what kind of function or feature you would like to use or to go. Like for example, you want to go to messages. So you want to click here and go to messages and you'll be prompted here easily. Or you could just press the Ctrl+K button on your keyboard and then you'd be able to access quick menu by just using your keyboard. Next is that we have the newsletter assistant. So in here, this would help you quickly create email content with AI, super handy for fast, professional looking emails. So we'll be using this later on in the video so that we would get more in details with this. But as for now, we will be just skimming through the features. So now we'll go back. Next is the messages. So in here, this is where you can write, edit, and manage all your email broadcast and schedule messages. In here, you can even see your drafts, split test, and email template manager. So we'll be discussing this more later on. And next is we have the automation. So in here, you can set up automated email flows like welcome sequences or product follow-ups, all on autopilot or automatic. So next is we have subscribers. So this is your contact list. You can now view, organize, and manage everyone who signs up. Next is the pages and forms. This is where you would be able to build landing pages and sign up forms to grow your list and capture leads. Next is the list options. So in here, you can customize settings for your email list, like your confirmation messages, branding, and more. Next is web push. So in here, you would be able to send push notifications to subscribers' browsers, which is great for instant updates outside of email. Next is reports. So in here, you could track how your emails are performing, like open rates, clicks, sales, and many more. And you could scroll all the way down and then you'd be able to see more of them. Next is the integrations. So in here, you could connect Aweber with your favorite tools like WordPress, Shopify, Zapier, ClickFunnels, PayPal, Facebook, and many other integrations right here. Next, we have community. So in here, you would be able to get inspired, learn tips, and see what others are doing inside the Aweber user community. Next is we have help. So this is where you could access the tutorials, documentations, or reach out to support anytime that you need assistance. Alright, so now that you have an idea on what each of them does, now we will be focusing on email marketing because in this video, we'll be focusing more of that as this is the main focus of Aweber, just to get you started in using this tool. So first up is that we'll be setting up our account like our email or custom domain. So you want to click here on your profile name right here at the bottom left. And from here, you would want to go into my account. And then once you're here on my account, you want to go into domains and addresses. And from here, you could now connect your custom email if you have one. And then you could also go for your domains right here for your landing pages, your website, and so on. So make sure that you set this all up first so that you'd be able to seamlessly add all of your landing pages or sign up forms that you will be creating here in Aweber. So this is what I recommend that you need to do first. So now once you're done in setting all of this up and you have them verified, the next thing that you want to do is to go into subscribers. So this is essential if you are migrating from another email marketing platform, like maybe MailChimp. So in here, what you want to do is you want to click here on add subscribers on the top right. And from here, you can add a subscriber or import multiple subscriber in here. So this is how you would be able to import your subscribers from another email marketing platform. Like for example, here on import multiple, in here, you can now go into this page in here. So let's just wait for that to load. And in here, so now you could drop your file to upload. So I suggest that you go for the CSV file, or you could just type or paste your subscribers in here. It's your choice on how you would like to upload your file. As for me, I will just select this option and I'm just going to drag the file in here and it will now be uploaded. And now in here, you could now map your subscriber info. So in here, you could choose how you would want to process this import. So you could add all of this as new subscribers, or you could add the new ones and the existing ones will just be updated. So in this one, I will be selecting the second option, which is the one for me, or you could only update the existing listings. So all those new ones in here that is not in your Aweber current subscribers will just be ignored. Just like that. Next is you have the map, the data that you would want to include to your subscriber fields. So in here is that you can now choose the information that you would want to import into your Aweber from the file that you have uploaded. In my case, I'll just go for the first name, last name, and then their email. So if you would want to add more information, like maybe their customer ID or maybe their phone number, so you can just click here on select a field. And from here, you would want to select the field that you would want to import this information on. As you can see here, you could select ad tracking, additional notes, email, and so on, whatever you'd want. So in this one, since this is a phone number, I could just go here for follow-up number, or I could just click here on add a new custom field, and I could just type in or name this as phone numbers. In this way, we would be able to organize our information really well here in Aweber. And then once you click on next, it will now be added successfully. And now from here, you could now select it right here. And then once you're done, you want to click here on next to proceed to step 3. Now, this is where you confirm the opt-in. So in here, you can decide if you would want new subscribers to confirm their subscription to this list. So as for this one, I don't recommend that you go for yes, because they don't really care if you transfer to another email marketing platform, like maybe you're from MailChimp and then you transfer here from Aweber. They don't really care about that. And in worst case scenario, you might actually lose them because you're sending them unnecessary emails. But if you think they would want that, then you can just go for yes. But I think most of the time that you should go for no. Once you're done, click here on next, more options on the bottom right. Now in here, you have more options now. And in here, you could add optional tags to your new subscribers. Like maybe you could go for a label, like maybe MailChimp. So if you're from MailChimp, maybe you could add a tag on them. It says MailChimp so that they will be tagged that they are from MailChimp. Just a label that would make you remember that this is one of the contacts that you have imported from MailChimp. So yeah, this is where you can set it up. And then once you're done, you want to click here on next background info. And now in here, you could now decide on how did these subscribers join your list. So you can go for they signed up on my website or any other options. And this question in here, are the subscribers from another email provider? You could go for no or yes. Just simply be honest. This is basically just for security purposes of Aweber, just to confirm that you are not a spam or you are not a bot, that you are legit and so on. So you want to answer this honestly. So as for my case, I'll just go for they signed up on my site and then give your site in here. Or maybe I purchased this list, or they bought my product or service, or they gave me their info in person and whatsoever. But the simplest one here, I'll be going for this one. And I'm just going to go for an example. And .com. Maybe something like that. And then once you're done, click on submit your import. And then after that, it will now be processed for review. It will not automatically be imported because they have to verify it first. And you'll get an email when it's completed. So make sure to keep a lookout on your email. And this can take up to 1 business day. But for most, it would finish within a few hours. And that's it. We have now added our subscribers in here. And now that we are done with the subscribers, we will now be proceeding into making our emails. So in here, they have the new feature, which is called Newsletter Assistant. So we can click on that. And then from here, we will now be able to use their AI. And then once it's loaded, now we can provide our URL right here for our website if you'd want to. But in my case, I'll just leave that blank. And then from here, let's say that we would want to create an email about a welcome email for my first time visitors, maybe something like that, and click on write my first newsletter. And let's see what it got for us from that vague general prompt. So in here, it is now currently processing it. So let's just wait for it to finish. And there it is. As you can see, it's very plain and simple. And you have this welcome paragraph and then the body right here. So of course, this is very helpful if you would want to use this as a guide. But of course, I suggest that you don't use it exactly as it is. So you want to add your personal touch into it. And then you could, if you're not satisfied with this, then you could just ask for edits in here. Like for example, you don't like how short it is, then you could just say that add more details and click on send. So basically this is like ChatGPT, and as you can see, it has now added more details and this is the result. So now, once you are now ready to use this, you are now satisfied, you can now click here on schedule newsletter right here on the top right. And then from here, it will now load and it will now schedule your newsletter and so on. But if you'd want to test this out first on how this would look, then you could click here on send test and so on. But yeah, it has now been loaded for scheduling right here. So let's just go through it. And now from here, send message. So in here, you could now type out the subject for this email. Right here, you could just edit this if you'd want to. And then as for the scheduling, you could send this immediately or choose a date. And then from here, you could also choose an audience by clicking on edit. And then from here, you could now choose your list of audience or list here, or you could exclude or include them. So basically, this is helpful when you have made your list, but as of now, we haven't done that yet. Next is the automation. So this is where you could add an automation, or if you have already added one, then you should see your automations in here that you could select or use. And you have your share message, and then you could also add for additional options. And then next you have the view for desktop, and this is the view for mobile, and then the plain text is this one. So if you need that, then this is where you could see it. And then once you're done, you could click here on send a test right here, and you could just input your email address, and then you could also input your text if you'd want to. In this way, it will now be sent into your email address, and then from there, you'd be able to see on how that would look. And once you're now ready, you can click here on send message now if you'd want to. And then from here, click on send, and this would now be broadcasted or sent into your customers or subscribers that you have listed here on Aweber. And as you can see, broadcast sending, and it's currently sending. So just wait for the status to say sent into all of your subscribers. And just like that, you have now sent an email using their newsletter assistant. Now we can go here into messages, and from here we can craft our own. So we can click here on create a message, and now you can go for the drag and drop editor, smart designer, plain text editor, or custom HTML editor. As for this one, we'll just be going for the drag and drop for simplicity. So in here, once we're now in drag and drop, you can just go for watch a video, take a tour, or I'll explore on my own. In my case, I'll be going for this one. So now we will now be able to craft our own message. So in here, I'll just leave it as it is. So you could just use the newsletter assistant for the content in here. But I'm just gonna go for the aesthetics on this one, since I have already discussed on how you can create your content easily. So in here, you could just navigate into the left side, and from here, you'd be able to see a bunch of stuff that you would be able to import here. So these are called elements. For example, I would want to input an image here on my message. So I just simply drag it here. And just like that, I will now be able to add an image element, and I can just click on that and navigate into the right side to control the options here on my element. So I could go for the image URL, image link, or image alt text. So you can set it up right here, and even the image alignment in here, and then the width and the height if you'd want that. And now you could go for upload an image if you would want to use an image from your storage or image gallery. So in here, you could just search for your images in here. So I'm just using stock. For example, I am selling a house or a property. So I could just use this image as you can see in here. And you have many more other elements that could be helpful as well. Like for example, product. So you could also just drag it in here. And just like that, you will now be able to import your product in here. And now to set this up, you want to select the product element. And then from here, you could just click here on the right side. And from here, go into product. And now you could go for the product URL in here. So you would want to configure your shop first in order for you to add your product. Like for example, in Etsy. So you could click here and configure the shop. And as you can see here, it would now require you to connect this integration. So this would be Etsy connected to your Aweber account. But we'll not dig deep into this one too much. We'll just be focusing on email marketing in here in Aweber. So I'm just going to go back. So yeah, basically you can just drag whatever element that you would need or want to be in your message. But as for this one, I'm just going to delete this because I don't need that. So next thing that we'll be doing is that we're going to be editing the button here. So click on the button, and then you would now have the options here on the right. And from here, we can change the button label. I'm just going to change it into buy now. And then you could also go for the URL if you would want to redirect your customers when they click this button. So you could just put your URL in here. And then you could also change the font for this in here. And then the text size, text color and button color, but as for me, it is all good. I just need to change the button alignment into middle, which is much more appealing. And then actually we'll be customizing the content in here. So let's say that we would want to say vintage house for sale rush. Maybe something like this one. And then from here, I would want to format this. So basically just select the text and then you would have your formatting options. So in here, you could make it bold. You could make it underlined, italic, and so on. But as for me, I'll just go and make sure it is centered in here, just like that. And now, next is that you could make this as a heading. So click here on heading, and it will be now like this. Next is that we'll be editing this. So I'm just going to erase all of them right here. And now from here, since this is a email, I want to say hi. And then I would want to go for the first name of whoever I will be sending this to. So in order for you to do that is that you want to click here on your subject line in here and click on that. And from here, click on this @ symbol right here and click on subscribers info. So you could go for their full name, first name, last name, and so on. You could go for their location, and which you could go for these details here or your snippets right here. In this case, I'll just go for the first name. And then now you could just copy this right here, copy. And then after that, you can just erase that. And now you want to paste it in here. Basically, what this would do now is that it would say hi and then the first name of your subscriber in here. So it would be automatic for the subscriber so that your message will feel more personal. And then after that is you would want to go here now and type out your message. So for example, I'm just going to go for this house is for sale now. This has been our family's house for generations. It is still in very good condition. Just maybe something like this, just for an example. You could add more details if you'd like. Now that you've done this, another option that you could do is that you could add your details in here so that the receiver would be able to know more details on who is sending this email. So you could just type out your name and then you could also replace this image with your own face or profile. Next is you could go here into the brush paint or paintbrush icon, click on that, and from here you could just edit the colors, headings, buttons, text, dividers, background, and so on. This is for your branding. Next is that you can go here for what's new. So as of now, these are the new features in here that you could try out in Aweber. So you could just scan through this and you could try it out if you'd want to, like their faster way to emoji. Next is we're going to go now here into insert your subject line. So this is very important in your email. So as for the subject line, you would want to import what you would want right here. You could even go for emojis in here, or you could just use AI to scan your email and then you could just choose the subject line that you'd want. For example, you could go for this one, or this one. And then you could click on that and it will now be imported just like so. Or you could just customize the result. You could go for the tones, you could go for professional, and then you could also go for informational, newsletter, and so on with the style. So you could customize the tone and style. As for this one, I'm just going to go for professional and informational and click on load more to apply those changes. And then you should have your suggestions in here based on your settings. So in my case, I'll just go for this one. Next is that you could go for the preview text and then you could also use AI for this if you don't want to manually do it. So I'm just going to use AI again. And from here, I'm just going to choose the first one and click on done. All right, everything is now set up. So let's say that we are now satisfied with this. And then what you want to do next is that you could preview and test it if you'd want to. So you could provide your email address so that this would be sent to you and then you could see on how it would look like on a real email. Or you could also go for the mobile preview so that you'd be able to see on how it would look like in mobile and you could optimize it if something goes wrong. And then you could also go for the name, tags, and so on. But as for this tutorial, we'll just be proceeding into save and exit so that we could save time. And then once it's done, it is now saved in our messages right here. So as you can see, it is now here. Now we are done with the messages. And from here, you could actually send this or schedule this for sending if you'd want to, or you could preview it, or you could copy, or you have more options like edit, preview, send a test, and so on right here. So yeah, that's it for the messages. Next is that you have your drafts in here, your broadcast, like we have sent earlier, and then you have the split test so that you would be able to test different subject lines, content, or send times to see what performs best, which is super helpful for boosting your open and click rates. And then we have the email template manager. So in here, you could use their AI to create an email template for you. You could design your own template or use a smart designer, which we'll be doing for this tutorial. So we'll just be using this. So this is helpful if you have a website already. For example, I'm just going to use google.com and click on create a template. And basically what this would do is that it would now create a sample email template just like this one right here. As you can see, this is made from Google. It has their branding and so on. So you could also do the same thing with your website, which is really helpful. And yeah, that's it for their email template manager. So now next, we'll be creating our pages and forms by going here into pages and forms. In here, we could now create our landing page or sign up form, or we could even do a split test on that. But as for this one, we'll be creating our landing page first. So go into landing page, and from here, we have our own pre-built page in here, but we would want to create a new one. So we could click here on create a landing page. And now from here, you could choose from one of the Aweber libraries templates in here, depending on the kind of landing page that you are looking for. So let's say that I am just going to create a simple one, which is just a thank you landing page or a thank you page. So I have a thank you page in here. We have more like a lead magnet list, wellness consultation, and many more. And then you can just go here into the search bar. And then from here, I'm just going to go for thank you, so that I'll be able to see all of the templates that is a thank you page. So as you can see, all of this now are thank you pages, and I just want to select something simple. So I think this one is great. So I'm just going to click here on preview so that I would be able to see on how it would look like on a desktop or in a mobile. So now when I like this, or if you really like this, then you can now use it. So you could just go back. And from here, you would want to go back in that template right here. So it's here. So you want to click here on choose. So now you would now be able to edit the template. So now here we are. So it's basically similar to what we did earlier when we were making our email from the messages. So you can just basically do the same thing. So now we could now skip the explanation for this one, and we'll just proceed into making our landing page. So let's say that I just want to thank them for scheduling a visit. So let's say that I am selling some properties like a house. So I'm in the real estate niche, and I'm just going to edit the text. So let's say that they are scheduling a visit. So I'm just going to go for thanks for scheduling a visit with us. Maybe something like that. And then from here, I just want to go for keep an eye out. You will receive an email from us shortly. So I just want to keep it as it is because I think it still applies. And then you could now also edit the header in here or this element on this template. So it would actually depend on what kind of template you have. So as for this one, I could just go here. And then from here, I could go for the design, the sizing, and then the spacing and so on. Or you could also upload an image right here or image gallery, just like what we did earlier. And as for this one, I'm just going to go with the stock images and then just use something that is related to real estate, like maybe this one. I'm going to click on that and it will now be uploaded in here as you can see. So let's say that I'm going to stick with this one, and then they would be able to see the house that they will be scheduling a visit into. And this one right here, thanks for scheduling a visit. And now let's say that I am now satisfied with my design in here and now done. So now first you want to insert a landing page name in here. So I'm just going to go for a sample landing page right there. So don't forget this. This is very important for organization. Next is once you're done, you want to now click here on preview if you would want to preview it on what it would look like from when you're using a desktop or a mobile right here. So this is how it would look like in mobile. And then once you're satisfied, you can go back into editor. And from here, you could make some edits if you'd want to. And from here, we're now going to click here on save and exit So let's say we're done crafting our landing page. And now in here, it is now saved in here. So now we have our sample landing page. And as you can see here, it is still unpublished. So you have your options in here, which is to edit, preview, or you could publish it now. So you can click here on publish page. And then as you can see, it has now been published, and this is the page URL. And as you can see, this URL is very ugly because this is just the free domain of Aweber that has provided for us. But if you have already connected your domain, just like what I have recommended earlier in this video, then you should see a different URL right here that is associated with the domain that you have connected in here. So I'm just going to click here on done. So now next, let's go here into sign up forms and create one. And from here, we can now click on create a sign up form. So you could go for on a landing page or for a website. So when you go here on for a landing page, basically you'll just be creating another landing page because you would see the same templates in here that was recommended in the landing page. Or you could also start with a blank canvas if you'd want to. So yeah, it's basically the same thing, the same process that you will undergo as we did earlier in the landing page. But if we go for the other one, which is the for my website option, which is this one, then now we would be presented with a different option or templates here in design a form for our website. So in here, we could see our template gallery. So you could just use one of your templates in here, or you could work with this, which is from scratch. But in this case, I'll just go with their template. So for example, I'm just gonna go maybe for this one right here. And from here, you can now select the color branding right here that you'd want. In my case, I'll just go with red and click on load template. So now here it is. So we have our header here, name and the email and then the footer and so on. So if you'd like to edit that or customize that, just simply select each one of them and then you can basically edit it from here. You can also add an image, add divider, add text, or whatsoever in here. So you could just use all of the options in here. But I think as for my case, what I need to do is to change this image in here. So basically, I just would want to go and remove the field in here. And from here, I want to add an image and go into image gallery. And from here, I don't have this stock footage option anymore, as you can see. So I would need to upload my own image in here. And now from here, you could click on upload an image and then you could just open your image in here, or you could just drag it here, just like this one. And it will now be uploaded just like that. And it's now uploading. And now from here, we could now click on this one to use it as an add-in image here. And then we could now reposition this and I would want it to be on top, just like that. And now from here, you could also add an image URL for this one if you'd want to turn this into a link. And then you have some other options based on the element that you have selected. And now from here, let's say that we are now all good with this. I'm now satisfied with everything. Next thing that I would want to do is to click here on save form. And then once it's saved, go to step 2. And now here on step 2 is that you can now go for your form name. So I'm just going to go and name this sample sign up. Right there. Next is you have the thank you page. So you could go for the basic version. So it would look like this when you click on preview. So yeah, this is how it would look like, but I don't think I want this because it's not related to my niche. So I'm just going to go back. And then from here, you can also go and stay in current page if you don't want anything to happen. So just stay on the current page, or you could go for your custom page. So you could go here. And then basically you could enter the URL. So actually we could use the landing page that we have created earlier. So to do that is that you want to click here on save your form first. And then once it's saved, you want to go into landing pages right here. And considering that we have already published that earlier, we should now see this URL in here on that landing page. So I'm just going to click here on copy and go back into sign up forms and go and open our sign up form that we have just created. And now just wait for it to load. And now go back into settings right here and then go into custom page. And now just simply paste the URL. So I'm just going to cut this right here. And there it is. So now you can now click here on preview and see what it would look like. And as you can see, this is the thank you page that we have created. So now let's go back. Now in here, you could go for the already subscribed page. So if you have that, or if you have created this in the landing page, you could basically do the same thing. But as for this one, I'm just going to go with a basic version. And you could go here into show advanced settings. So you can go for ad tracking and so on right here if you'd want to. Lastly, let's go into step 3. So now, you can now publish, but you must save your form first before it can be published. So save your form, click here. And now, once it's saved, you will now be able to see this option. So you can go for, I will install my form. So this is your option. If you're comfortable with HTML and have access to edit your pages, like for example, in WordPress, you could just basically install it from there using the JavaScript snippet or the raw HTML version. Or you could just use my form as a landing page. Click here. And then from here, you could just link to a page that has my form. So yeah, these are your options on how you'd be able to publish your form on your website. And that's it. Now that we know how you can create your sign up form if you go for a landing page or for your website. Now that we have our sign up form in here and our landing page in here on our account, the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go for automation next. So click here on automation. And basically, this is where we could automate the process. Like, for example, when someone would sign up for our newsletter, then there would be a sequence of process that would automatically be run by Aweber in here. So we'll be creating that. So first of all is that we have the import button here. So you could also import your campaigns or automation, or you could create one right here, or you could create a workflow. So you can create an automation with split paths in your new visual workflow builder, which is a new feature here in Aweber. And then you have your list automation in here. So you could go for subscriber automation or page hit automations, depending on what kind of automation that you'd like to create. But as for this one, on this video or tutorial, we'll just be going with a simple one. So we're going to go here into campaigns. And now from here, we're going to click here on create campaign. And now we can go with a blank campaign if you'd want to start from scratch, or you could go for a welcome series, blog automation, YouTube automation, and many other more. Or you could also go for visit marketplace if you'd want to check out the marketplace for more pre-written or templates for automations. In this tutorial, we'll just go with something simple, which is a welcome series. So let's say that we're just going to click here on select. So we'll be creating this automation for a very simple purpose, which is just to welcome our new subscriber on our newsletter. Or maybe, since in my case, I am in the real estate business, like for example, this is the first time that this person or client has scheduled an appointment and so on. So let's say we'll be going with that scenario and we'll be customizing this accordingly. So first, here in the first step right here, we have the start a campaign. So this actually would depend on the kind of template that you have chosen. So you might be seeing different steps in here or more steps. But basically in here, you have the choice to replace a trigger. So click on replace a trigger, and then you could go for tag applied instead. So instead of unsubscribe, you would have this option. So basically what this does is that the campaign or the automation would start when someone subscribes, or you could replace it when a tag is applied. So this is your trigger. And then as you can see here, the trigger campaign for new subscribers. And then next is that we have the apply tag. So this is step 2. So when someone subscribes, they would be applied with this tag in here, which you could customize by clicking here and go here, and then you could just customize the tag if you want that. And if you don't want this step, or if you don't want to apply a tag, then you could just remove it if you'd like to. But in my case, I'll just go for new customer as a tag right there. Next is that you could send a message in here. So this is the email. And from here, you could now select your message. So as you can see right here, thanks for signing up. So you could just preview this. And now this is how it would look like. And then once you're done, click on done. And from here, you can also remove this. And instead, you can just choose a message that you have created. So we can click here, choose message. And then from here, we now have our message that we have crafted earlier. So you could also use this. And from here, for example, I'm just going to go for this one and click on select. And this is just for an example, but if you would want to create a message specified for this automation, then you can just go back and craft a message. So you also have the option here to create a message from here. You can go for drag and drop editor, plain text editor, or custom HTML editor. But as for this one, I'm just going to select the one that we have created earlier. Next is that you have the applied tag again. So in here, you can apply a tag again, but if you don't want this anymore, then you can just click here on remove. And then from here, you have your actions right here that you could choose. So for example, I would want to click here on wait. So basically, I could just drag it here. And then from here, I could now customize the wait duration. So I could go for maybe just hours. Let's say 8 hours right there. And then once it's set, is that you can now click here and add a new send window if you'd want to, so that you'd be able to add a custom time in here, or maybe wait until every day at 9 a.m. So you can just edit this if you'd want to. So if this is more of your style in timing your messages or your next action, then this is where you can do it. You can click here and edit, and then you can go for the days that this would happen, or maybe for the time. But as for my case, I'll just remove this and I'll just go for a fixed 8 hours. And some other things is that you could also go for send an email again. So basically you could just drag it here. So what would happen is basically you have started a campaign in here. So when someone else subscribes, now this automation would start and it would now apply a tag, which is the new customer tag. And then it would now send this email. After that, it would wait for 8 hours after proceeding to the next step, which is this one. So send a message. So you can choose a message again, for example, this one, and select, and it would send this message again for 8 hours. So that's it. This is basically it for the automations. So that's how simple it is to set up. And then you could also go for check feed if you'd want to. So if you don't know what check feed is, this is basically a feature that lets Aweber monitor an RSS feed, which is basically a stream of your latest content like blog posts, YouTube videos, or podcast episodes, depending on your niche. So basically, when a new content appears in the feed, Aweber can automatically send it out to your subscribers. It's a hands-free way to keep your audience updated every time you publish something new. So that is what CheckFeed does. So it checks the feed on your content and then updates your subscribers with it. So you could just set it also up here. So as for this one, we'll just be skipping that, and then we'll just be going in here. And now, once you're done with your automation and you're satisfied with every setting, now you can click here on Publish. From here, there will be a notice that says new sender requirements affect your deliverability. So to get the best deliverability and to comply with Gmail sender requirements, it is recommended that you set up and configure your own business domain. That is why earlier in this video, I suggested that you set up your domain and emails first. In this account, I haven't done that, so it is sending a notice like this. But from here, I'm just going to click on Publish and Turn On. And that's it. Our campaign or automation is now turned on. We can now go and exit. And now from here, we will now be able to see it right here. And it is currently turned on in here. And yeah, that's it for the automation. You could basically do the same thing for the list automation. You have your subscriber automation and the page hit. So if you don't know what each of this means or does, then I'll explain it to you. So first is subscriber automation. This would let you trigger actions based on what a subscriber does. For example, when someone joins your list, clicks a link, or opens an email, you can automatically tag them, start a new campaign, or move them to a different list. No manual work needed. So this is for your subscribers that is added to your list in here. But if you go for your page hit automation, this would track when a subscriber visits a specific page on your website. Once they land at that page, you can trigger automation like tagging them as interested, or maybe starting a follow-up series or sending a special offer. So this is great for targeting people based on behavior, not just their clicks. So page hit is basically if you'd want to target behaviors, and subscriber if you'd want to target subscribers. That's it. So when you click here on add automation, this will be your option. So now you can choose the actions in here that you'd want, like unsubscribe from list when subscribing to, or unsubscribe from list when unsubscribing from, or subscribe to the list when subscribing to. So you can just choose whatever you want. And then you could also choose the list in here, but I haven't set up my list yet, so nothing is appearing in here. And as for the page hit, this is what you'd be seeing on the options. And you could also go for manage tracking, as I have explained, which is right here. You'd need to set up your domain first. And that's it. That's everything you need to know to get started with Aweber for email marketing efficiently and confidently. We walk through creating emails using the drag and drop editor and AI, building landing pages and sign up forms, and setting up automations to run things on autopilot. So if you're ready to dive in, remember to use the link in the description to sign up. It's our affiliate link and helps support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.